Check your inflatables. That's the sound of gusty winds hitting up to 35 miles an hour. And yes, the cold front has officially, or I should say finally and officially arrived.
Those ghosts seem to be holding steady, but it's the temperatures that we want to see fall. Adam Caskey joining us now, tracking a lot of things today. When are we going to start noticing that colder air?
You know, later tonight, but especially first thing tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning, it's not just going to be cooler, but also still gusty. And that's one of the issues overnight with the inflatables, like you mentioned, or any, you know, loose items outside. You still have your patio umbrella propped open. That can be problematic with these cold fronts. I did even see on my street some empty black bins already toppled over from a few gusts. Latest gusts averaging about 30 miles per hour. We have had them up to 35, and we could even see higher gusts actually overnight tonight. I anticipate some higher gusts. This is just the beginning. Gusts between 40 and 50 miles per hour overnight, 40 miles per hour locally, closer to 50 miles per hour locally in the hill country overnight tonight, and pretty much the same through tomorrow. We're going to have similar wind speeds, very gusty north winds, and temperatures finally falling off. So by tomorrow morning, within 1604 and 410, about 52, 53 degrees in the morning. So back down in the low 50s. You get into the hill country, and we're talking 40s, mid to upper 40s for lows in the hill country. Comfort 46, Bernie 47, Tarpley about 48 for that morning low, and gets even cooler for the rest of this work week. Have the jacket ready to go, especially by Thursday morning. This front did kick up a few showers east of San Antonio, just a few outside of Seguin and then through Hallettsville. That's the last of the shower activity. If you got hit by one of those splash and dash showers, consider yourself lucky. We'll talk about just how cold it's going to get, how long it's going to last, and we do have another opportunity for rain, a little shift in the extended forecast in just a bit.
All right, we stick with the weather. Hurricane Melissa has made landfall. You can see how impressive the storm is. This is in Jamaica. As a catastrophic Category 5 storm, packing sustained winds of 185 miles an hour.
Can you imagine how strong that must be to feel in person? Take a look at the video here. You could see just how strong those winds are based on what you see in these pictures. The island just getting pounded by huge waves as well. So roads, buildings, homes washed away. Entire communities now at risk of being wiped out. At last check, 7 people have died as a result of this storm.
Now, Melissa's been named one of the most intense hurricanes on record to make landfall in the Atlantic. Right now, rescue crews are standing by and they are ready to go. All airports have been shut down, leaving many tourists stuck. Jamaican officials say they plan to reopen at least one local airport by Thursday, but we'll have to wait and see the extent of the damage there. Back here locally, a man was shot and killed in the parking lot of a motel this morning, the Starlight Motel to be exact. The details of the crime may sound somewhat familiar. Our Patty Santos tells us there are some similarities between the shooting today and 2 others in recent days.
3 shootings, 2 of them fatal and just days apart. San Antonio police say all of them involved domestic disputes with former partners. SAPD says in this morning's shooting, a man was confronting his ex-partner at the Starlight Motel on Fredericksburg Road when he was shot and killed. The couple's children were nearby inside the motel, but they were not hurt. Police have several people in custody, but have not said if anyone will be charged. On Monday, bad blood between 2 men and a woman led to a fist fight, a shooting, and that all ended with a car wreck. It happened at a motel on Loop 1604 in Bandera Road. The accused shooter, 40-year-old Sean Blakes, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A 26-year-old man was shot and suffered a broken leg from the wreck. A young child was there to witness that scene. And on Sunday, a 49-year-old man was shot and killed on Southwest Loop 410 near Central Road. The 49-year-old was shot in the chest after a fight with a 43-year-old. Police say the 43-year-old was arrested. SAPD says in this case, both men dated the same woman. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and all month we have been highlighting the different resources that are available to you right here in our community. Just head to KSAT.com and search domestic violence. I'm Patty Santos.
A woman was hit and killed by a train today just north of downtown San Antonio. This happened just after 10 a.m. near Lambrano Street and North Comal Street. San Antonio police tell KSAT that the train conductor saw the woman walking along the tracks and tried to warn her.
The conductor kept pulling his horn, trying to warn her. Unfortunately, she was struck.
Lombrano Street has reopened after being closed for over an hour after the woman was hit.
Well, today's testimony shed new light on how SAPD filed a warrant to have 3 former officers arrested in the 2023 killing of Melissa Perez, and we are now in day 12 of that trial. So this afternoon, the defense began questioning the lead detective in the case, Ronald Soto. Earlier testimony from the medical examiner revealed that Perez had only been hit twice by bullets, despite more than a dozen rounds being fired. The defense asked Soto if he told the magistrate's office those details when he filed the warrant to have Eleazar Alejandro, Alfred Flores, and Nathaniel Villalobos arrested.
When you walked that warrant, when you made your affidavit, did you include in the affidavit that you gave to a magistrate that it was impossible for all 3 of these officers to have committed murder?
No, I didn't.
You didn't. You didn't tell the magistrate at all that there were only 2 gunshot wounds in Melissa Perez.
I did not.
The 3 officers were arrested 16 hours after the shooting, but it was not until months later that it was discovered that the bullets that hit Perez were from the guns shot by Flores and Alejandro. All 3 men face up to life in prison if convicted. Now, we are live streaming this trial gavel to gavel, and testimony is expected to continue again tomorrow morning. You can watch it on all of our streaming platforms and KSAT.com.
Nonprofits are already dealing with an increase in requests for food assistance. Come Saturday, that number could get even bigger. That's when SNAP benefits will be suspended. Some people are turning to churches, their food pantries, for help. Pashada Pope spoke with one local church ministry that says by faith they are preparing to help meet the need.
Each week we provide food to 142 families. So our monthly totals run between 560 and 570 families a month.
And with the news of the impending suspension of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, Sharon Sadlin says the food pantry at the King of Kings Lutheran Church is aiming to serve everyone who comes to their door. But lately, they haven't always been able to.
We already turned away 20 cars, a week ago. I cannot imagine how many we may have to turn away, this coming week.
The food pantry has a partnership with a food bank that allows the ministry to purchase additional meat and dairy items for their respective pantry. The government shutdown increased the number of people turning to the church, and now they're seeing that happening again with people losing SNAP benefits.
We don't carry over much in a year, so we are concerned about our ability to increase those elements.
Sadlin says the congregation is very supportive of the food pantry through its Feed My Sheep Fund with the pantry's emergency shelf-stable backup. But she says that backup will only last for so long.
We expect we'll expend all of that during this crisis.
Sadlin and her fellow volunteers have faith and will come together to do what they can.
Providing them food is not a chore. It is a blessing to us that God gives us the resources and the strength to do it.
Pashada Pope, KSAT 12 News.
Well, a Hill Country school district is adopting a high-tech tool meant to stop school shootings. The program is called Campus Guardian Angel. Bernie ISD has spent the last year working to get campuses and families ready for it. The drones are meant to be an addition to the district's overall safety plan.
What is Bernie ISD doing to prevent even having to use those?
So one of our goals here is to really create what's called a system of care. It's working collaboratively with our police, our juvenile probation, our counselors, nurses, teachers, administrators, just to all be on the same page when it comes to caring for students.
Now, the drones are set to be installed on campuses later this school year. Tonight on the Night Beat, KSAT Investigates Daniela Ibarra will head to Austin to show us how they work.
San Antonio Spurs legend Tim Duncan is the subject of a new documentary premiering tonight at the 32nd Austin Film Festival. The film is called The Boy from St. Croix. It is the most intimate look yet at Duncan's personal life, his career, and his connection to his home island. The film is directed by Emmy Award-winning filmmaker and the NBA Hall of Famer's own brother, Scott Duncan.
I wanted Timmy, in his own words, to kind of tell his story, wherever story he wanted to tell. Why is Timmy the way he is? Well, this is where we're from. This is life in St. Croix. This is life in Virgin Islands.
The film features new footage across Duncan's career and new interviews with his coaches, teammates, and people from St. Croix. Still ahead on the news at 5, what the mayor is saying about ways the city and local utility companies are preparing to help those affected by the government shutdown.
Plus, we are less than a month away from Thanksgiving, and organizers who host the annual Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner are already getting prepared. Why they say more help is needed this year.
But first, let's take a look at traffic out there right now. We're going to take you to this TransGuide camera. Highway 281, Loop 410, always a crowded spot this time of day. It is both on the main lanes of 410 as well as the interchange there as people make their way to and from. We'll be right back. More than 25,000 people get a meal every year at the annual Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner. But this year, the plan is to serve even more.
Yeah, you can probably imagine that organizers expect to see an increase in people looking for home delivery meals. And they're also expecting to see more people show up in person at the convention center. Our Erica Hernandez talked with the head of the nonprofit about getting ready to feed everyone in need this Thanksgiving.
With the way things are now, loss of wages, increase in food costs, I think it has come time for us to expect more folks.
Patricia Jimenez and other organizers for the Raul Jimenez dinner are preparing for the biggest dinner yet.
We are getting ready to buy 100 more turkeys and prepare to feed close to 4,000 more.
Over the last few years, Patricia says they've noticed an increase in those who attend. With no end in sight in the government shutdown and SNAP benefits ending on November 1st, more people could be looking for a hot meal on Thanksgiving Day.
I wish it wasn't a problem. I wish that we didn't have to worry about it. But unfortunately, right now, with the way things are, everybody has to do what they can.
And people are helping out already. Patricia says they were able to secure a lot of donations earlier this year, and on Tuesday, they got even more. Kim's Angels Foundation doubled their original donation of $50,000 to $100,000 to help out. More than 550 turkeys need to be prepared for this year's dinner, so here's how you can help. Registration is now open at the Raul Jimenez Dinner website. There you can sign up for any type of job to help out.
We're going to do everything that we can to ensure that we have what we need so that we don't run out of food and that we do have a way to serve all those people that walk in the door.
And for those needing a meal delivered, you can register for one now. Just call 211 and select option 1. Patricia says her father's mission was to always help those in need the best he could, and she plans to continue that in the dinner's 46th year and beyond. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones was also at the Raul Jimenez dinner kickoff today, and she told KSAT that CPS Energy and SAWS are stepping up to help out federal workers and those on SNAP benefits.
There is some relief. Folks should reach out to SAWS. They should reach out also to CPS. Those numbers are on the website. Call them and let them know that you're in one of those categories and that you need some help. And I just spoke to the CEOs, actually, of both of those organizations yesterday, and they're more than willing to work with, again, those federally impacted, those folks impacted by federal cuts.
Mayor Jones also mentioned that the city is working on a plan to help people as the government shutdown drags on, and we expect to talk to her more about that in our KSAT Q&A today at 6:30.
Okay, let's get you outside as the weather is changing as we speak for a lot of people, and the wait, Adam, the long wait for cooler weather is finally about to end.
Oh, it's finally going to feel like fall around San Antonio. And bust out your jackets, have the hoodie sweatshirts ready to go because you're going to need them in the mornings ahead. Let's take a look at our morning low temperature trend. Tomorrow, we're at 52. Okay, just a little below the average low of 56. Then sunrise on Thursday, we're down to 41. That'll be the coldest we've been in 205 days. Friday, 43, and then we're back in the lower 50s Saturday and Sunday. But notice how, by and large, we are below the average low temperature of 56. Now, here's one thing we're watching, the dew points, the true measure of moisture in the air. They're starting to fall off and drop, and they'll continue to do so with the north wind. But also, as the dew points drop, the relative humidity drops. The relative humidity, how much moisture is in the air relative to how much moisture the air can hold at the given temperature. So the dew point kind of measures how muggy it feels outside. The relative humidity is a kind of a gauge of, at a specific temperature, how much moisture the air is holding relative to the air's capacity. Now here's the key. By tomorrow afternoon, relative humidity drops down to about 13 to 15%. So the air is only holding about 15% of the moisture that it can at the given temperature tomorrow afternoon. That is very dry air, even down to 12, 13% in parts of the afternoon. That combined with our gusty winds gives us the red flag warning. This is tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And what these always mean is the fire conditions are ripe when it comes to spreading wildfires. Doesn't mean the weather's going to cause fires, but if there is a fire, it can quickly ignite and then quickly spread. So the usual, no campfires or burn piles. And keep in mind, shouldn't have burn piles anyway. Most, if not all, the counties in the KSAT 12 viewing area do have burn bans. But even power tools that can create sparks, especially around tall grass, cigarettes disposed of improperly, that can create some brush fires, and even dragging trailer chains on the highway and the roads creates sparks sometimes. And in these conditions, it can lead to the ignition of a fire. Now, notice the dew points are still really low. Feels good out there with that. Until Saturday, we get a little bump, and that's when we actually have our next chance of rain. Yeah, a little modification to the extended forecast here with the upper level flow and how it's changing. So we have the big trough right now, midsection of the country. We're not really in the precipitation with this. That's what's pulling the cooler air southward. That's pushing eastward. A secondary one drops in, and it should get close enough to us when we get enough upper level push, along with that little surge of humidity on Saturday, to at least introduce the chance of a few showers. Right now at 30% for Saturday. Check this out, record-breaking day, 91. The high temperature before the front arrived. It's a new record by 1 degree. The average high is 78, and we're going to be below that for a few days, or at least near it for the extended forecast too. Leon Springs 76, Del Rio at 80, 93 Panna Maria. See, Panna Maria still waiting on the cold front to arrive. Lavernia making it up to 86 and Bernie 77. Right now at the airport 80 degrees, but cooling relatively quickly. By 7 o'clock, we're 71, 9 p.m., 67, and tomorrow morning, 40s in the hill country, low 50s for the rest of us, but very windy tomorrow. Windy and dry. Still some gusts between 35 and 50 miles per hour tonight through tomorrow. And look at this, right near 70 around San Antonio, but I think officially in the upper 60s. And then only low to mid 70s Thursday and Friday. Even through the weekend, we're looking at highs in the 70s. Trick-or-treating near 70. Perfect.
And an extra hour of sleep this weekend.
That's true.
Or whatever you do in the middle of the night on Saturday night.
We'll take it. All right.
No judgment.
Thank you, Adam. All right, Mary, Wimby is putting on a show, and we like it.
Yes, we do. I'm sure Spurs fans today have a little extra pep in their step after a 4-0 start to the season. We're talking about last night's win over Toronto, and yes, Wemby on his pristine stat sheet, what he's been working on. And the QB situation in question as Texas gets ready for a tough SEC game versus number 9 Vanderbilt after the break.
Spurs never went 5-0?
Spurs never went 5.
No.
Wow, right.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. Let's beat that record.
5-0 in the preseason, 4-0 to start the regular season. The Spurs are closing in on history now in big board sports. Last night, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs kept their undefeated streak alive, handing Toronto a 121-103 loss inside Frostbank Center. Wembanyama hit his first 360 layup to get the crowd going early in the game. And for Wemby's standards, the 21-year-old logged a modest stat line compared to his first 4 games. An efficient 24 points on 7 of 8 shooting with 15 boards and a perfect 10 for 10 from the charity stripe. Now, that type of efficiency wasn't learned overnight.
Sometimes it's easy to underestimate the value of turning down shots. And, I've done a lot of work this summer to recognize the situation and the situations and when to take a shot, when to not, and take the highest quality shots possible.
Well, the Spurs will try to achieve the franchise's best start to a season on Thursday when the Miami Heat come to town. At 6 o'clock, we have Harrison Barnes talking about the Spurs locker room vibes.
Did Arch practice this morning?
He did not. He's in protocol right now. We'll have more information as the week goes.
Last week, after UT quarterback Arch Manning's head brutally collided with the turf, veteran backup QB Matthew Caldwell stepped in, and he saved the day in overtime by tossing the game-winning score to Emmett Mosley, the 5th in a 45-38 triumph over Mississippi State. Now, Caldwell has played for 4 different schools and might have to start this week against number 9 Vanderbilt, a situation Coach Sarkisian feels good about.
He's played well every time that we've put him in the game. Whether it's been at the end of games with the long runs, with the passes, whether it's been at Florida where he had to come in and throw a ball to Ryan Wingo on an in-cut, whether it was this game. And so, what gives me confidence is who he's been.
That game will be live on KSAT 12 at 11 a.m. on Saturday. We'll be right back.
All right, how's this for Halloween? At trick-or-treat time, sunsets at 6:48, 70 degrees then, and then cooling off pretty quickly thereafter. So if you have any late night plans Friday night for trick-or-treating, it's going to get cool quickly, so be prepared for that. And clear sky, low humidity, not much of a wind either. Notice the next several mornings, low 50s tomorrow, low 40s Thursday and Friday. So that's a bit of a shock to the system at the bus stop, and a little hope for rain briefly on Saturday.
Oh, that's what we've been waiting for.
About time. All right, thank you so much for watching the news.